Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen, I'm going to need all of you to have a seat right over there because I've been going through some transcripts and there's something you need to know. You're watching TTFT. I'll be watching as well.
Yes, I'm sitting here with ass and ass. And we're just going to have a little bit of fun. So we'll start with my man, Mr. Royal. Do you lick from the back all the way to the front or from the front to the back?
It depends.
Bing. David, next question for you. Why do you believe in God so much?
Because.
Mr. Royal. Firehouse or Subway?
Firehouse.
All right, Bing.
It's so tasty.
Is that where
They got curated meats.
Where he'd rather get a blowjob at?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I didn't get to finish the
Well,
question.
Firehouse does have holes.
Yep.
Ew.
And all the toppings you want.
Yeah, they got a lot of those.
Bing. David, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Dog. Well, I guess. Cats clean themselves.
Why must I chase the cat?
Wait a minute. Go back on that one. So do you have to pick up cat shit like a dog? Like if you walk, you don't walk your cat.
Yeah, you gotta pick it up out of the litter box. And
Out of the litter
the shit
box.
is so toxic, a pregnant woman can't even go around it.
Bing.
Kind of like Royal.
Last question I'll go through, and I'll ask both guys the same.
Is it one
question.
or is it, because you said last and then it was an S after question.
I meant to ask you. To you, how long before TTFT pops?
Hasn't it already popped?
I was looking for an honest answer. Of course, I got.
The truth?
We know what it is.
Do we?
I said
I know what it is.
global.
Yeah, it's gonna be so ironic him saying that.
Isn't the internet global?
Video that
Isn't the internet global?
54 views. I would say within 272 days.
That have already passed.
Bing, I like that.
Me too.
Don't forget to check into TTFT every time they drop it on YouTube. Subscribe.
There's a website, ttft.live.
Subscribe. Hit the thumbs button. And if you don't like it, F you.
Testing.
Testing. Testing over these credits.
Who the fuck are these assholes?
Oh, look at all these. Look how important we are. Look at all the guests we've had. We're so important.
Oh, look at him. Look at little Michael B.
Oh, let's throw TTFT up. Don't forget the names.
Is that Timberlake? The fuck?
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2. What the fuck is up, internets?
My name is Mr. Durden Godfrey.
And my name is Mr. Tarian J. You don't need to know the rest. Royal.
And you guys already know that because I don't know if you've seen, but we're pretty famous by now. We have hit over 1,000 subscribers. By now we're like approaching 1,500.
That's 3 zeros. That means they found somebody else that's a loser just like us. 0, 0, 0.
The views are going up. The watch time is going up. We are happy about it. If you are subscribed and you are watching this, we are so close to getting monetized by YouTube. All we need is the watch hours up. So sleep with TTFT. When you go to bed at night, put us on, let it ride through the evening, and we can collect that time. Thank you for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. And we have some surprises coming up as promised for reaching this goal.
Dave, don't tease them. Tell them.
We have we've mentioned before, we made movies as well. We are going to give our last film called I'm Gonna Kill Someone This Friday the same treatment, the similar treatment to what we've given to the previous 23 films that we've covered on this show. That episode's going to be coming out in, when the hell did we say that was? September 17th.
I think after covering 33 movies, it wouldn't be in vain just to kind of bring up something that's super awesome that we fucking did.
Yeah. And to hold ourselves to the same, because with a little bit of time between the movie being done and now, we can look at it with a fresh set of eyes and
you still
think
have that
critically
script
about it. The original script?
Yeah, because I don't read it, it reads me.
So yeah, that's going to be our 1-year anniversary episode, as well as a thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. And we got a bunch of cool stuff planned for that episode. More details will be coming. We also have another special episode that we're going to be working on for August 29th.
We definitely do. Let's just say this. Get your popcorn ready. There's only one of me left, and it's going to bust your block.
Wow, man, freaked out.
I see what you did there, sir.
Thank you.
Ba-boom.
Figure it out in the comments below.
We want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Aimbot. Boy, could we use some Aimbot right now.
You need that Tarian gene. Did you see the Tarian gene in there? The Tarian variant?
Yes.
My name. Hey, this was meant to be, guys. Let's do this.
Yes, it's all natural, produced here locally. When you purchase it, it helps you. It helps us.
You talking about marijuana?
Them. That and also Aimbot. Check them out at the link popping up on the screen. Use that promo code, and
we call that in film school. We call that editor's choice.
Yes.
I know what I'm going to do with it. Let's go. I got to go.
You get 15% off. We get 15% of the cut. Everybody's happy, and you are energized. So check them out. Aimbot Energy. And what do they need to do beyond that?
Subscribe.
And like.
And go to our Patreon and the website ttft.live and go to the merchandise shop where you get never before seen shirts and merchandise. Hey, people always say, we're digging that background. Who did it? Well, he did it based off the movies we did, and you can get your own personal background. Mugs, t-shirts, coffees, Spaceballs the movie, TTFT the show. You get where we're going.
Speaking of, yes, the merchandise. Today's movie is The Invention of Lying.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that shirt on the merch on the store page of ttft.live, which would explain why we are wearing these shirts.
What does yours say, Durden?
This takes us back to Season 1, Episode 1, our Black Panther episode. The debate lives on. Killmonger is a villain. What does your shirt say?
This takes us back to, well, I don't know where, because
1776.
we were taken, but this says America was discovered.
Wait, 1693. When the hell did Columbus sail the ocean blue? Oh, 92. Fuck it.
This just says America was discovered. And like we said, we're covering the invention of lying. So
yeah, so our shirts are obviously, it's opposites day here at TTFT. We do. These are things that we do not believe.
If you're paying charades, how could you even put like discovered?
We need to blur these, like make it where they can't be screenshot. The Invention of Lying was my choice. I saw the movie, right around the time it came out. I was a fan of The Office, which led me to the UK version of The Office, which got me into Ricky Gervais just in time for this movie to come out. And the concept was just amazing. We'll get all into the...
This is one of your picks, and I have to say,
layers.
Yeah, your picks have been standing up.
And coming up in the show, we've got 2 special guests from the movie, Miss Alison Quinn and Mr. Ken Cheeseman.
Hey, that is Cheeseman.
Stay tuned for that for Casper Review. And
all right, guys, it's that time. We do our research. Durden, take them away.
All right, here is everything that you need to know about The Invention of Lying. The Invention of Lying premiered at the Toronto Film Festival on September 14th, 2009, and was released in the US on October 2nd. Some movies that were released around that time were Heath Ledger's last film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Splice. That's my shit, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, fuck, you fucking kidding me? Fuck yeah.
It weirded me out. It was like...
You know what?
Sex
Nah.
with that alien thing.
I thought it was Split.
Yeah, okay.
No.
You know what I'm talking? You know what Splice is?
Yeah,
now?
no, that was not my shit.
Adrian Brody getting all up in that alien poom.
And speaking of alien poom, Zombieland also came out around that time.
And there's a fucking list. This was a great month. 2012.
I didn't want that movie to end. I'm like, tell me what happened, but it was fucking weird.
The Descent, Part Deuce.
Dissenting. Speaking of the descending society and the world we live in, Law Abiding Citizen also came around that time. Gerard Butler.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you feel bad for his character?
Fuck yeah, in the beginning. Watching your fucking kid. Oh, at the end, yeah, I felt bad. He shouldn't have to fucking die.
I'm just making sure I remember correctly.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was like an unpopular opinion.
Yeah. No.
It was like a Killmonger situation.
He watched his wife and daughter get raped and killed in front of him, and then the man gets set free because he turned on the other guy that was there.
These two movies I actually saw in theaters October 2009. Where the Wild Things Are, Spike Jonze' take on the classic book, had James Gandolfini doing the voice. Men Who Stare at Goats, George Clooney, Kevin Spacey, Ewan McGregor.
And don't forget about Saw 6 came out around that time as well. And
I didn't even know.
And what about the fantastic Mr. Fox?
Wes Anderson fucking coming out the gates with stop motion and blowing the whole world away. The Invention of Lying is written and directed by Ricky Gervais and Matthew Robinson.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Matthew Robinson actually wrote the screenplay for A Little Shop of Horrors remake, currently in pre-production, with Scarlett Johansson rumored as playing Audrey, Chris Evans rumored as playing the dentist, and Taron Egerton playing Seymour.
The Invention of Lying stars Ricky Gervais as Mark Bellison, Jennifer Garner as Anna McDouglas, Jonah Hill as Frank, Lewis the CK as Greg, Jeffrey Tumbar as Anthony, Rob Lowe as Brad Kessler, Tina Fey as Shelley, and can't miss Dr. Jason Bateman as Doctor.
Yep, you also get the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman cameo.
What?
Edward Norton in a hilarious moment. Bobby Moynihan pops up and Stephen Merchant's in one of my favorite scenes. And if you look real closely, you'll see Eric Andre, a young Eric Andre, just sitting there being totally cool and not busting into anything or ripping his skin off or anything crazy. Just sitting in the crowd.
That's a bad trip. See what it is?
Yeah.
Ew.
Invention of Lying was shot. Production began April 14th, 2008. Locations: it was filmed primarily in Massachusetts, with a flashback scene shot in London, England. With a budget of $18.5 million, Invention of Lying made back a little over $7 million in its opening weekend, with a current worldwide gross of nearly $32.5 million. That's everything you need to know about The Invention of Lying. What did we forget? Put it in the comments. And Lord of Connections, I've never been so intrigued because IMDb had nothing for me on this one.
Well, try I Am Mr. T. Try me. Let's get it started, guys. You know what this is. Lord of Connections here. You know what? No. I'm the king of connections.
Okay.
Stepping it up.
I would think Lord is. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to be the king of connections.
Okay.
KOC. Yeah, you know me. Let's get right into it, guys. We're going into
Cock.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And how the fuck do you get to say that and you wouldn't let me do the cum swap segment?
You said it. You're the one that put the acronym out there. I just sounded it out.
You're such a hypocrite, man. And it's almost 6 o'clock. Oh my God.
Just in time.
It's closing time. Life could be so easy. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this started here. The cop that says what goes on today in society. The connection is film and society. When I put the cop, I didn't even know it was Edward Norton. So to me, the connection in the movie was like Ricky Gervais was so ahead of his time, and he wrote those lines for Edward Norton when he stops and again he's like, oh my goodness. And we'll discuss this later because it's one of my favorite lines. But what he says to them still goes on in society today. So that was my connection between society and the film itself.
Okay.
That's there. All right. Oh, there we go. This is why you don't go to IMDb. Now, what was Ricky Gervais's character's name?
Just said it.
I know. I just want to know if you ever listen to me when I talk. You never listen to me anymore.
I don't retain names.
Oh.
It's fucking...
And you wanted me to get K. Roth Banu? You sick bastard.
Bobby... No.
Bobby? What, Flay?
Mark.
Okay. That's good enough.
Marco.
That's the reason why you Hoff that. Hoffman brought you back. No, I don't need the last one. You're good.
Bellish.
Oh, you're just getting... No, don't give me that French shit you looked up online. Oh, not French, but he looked up some shit. Anyway, all right. So this is one of my favorite connections here. This is a story being told. His name is Mark. To me, this is the Book of Mark.
Hey, yeah.
Mark, the Book of Mark is what he's talking. The things he was doing is the Book of Mark. So that was connection to the Bible and that and everything there. So I wanted to do that. The reason why this is connection to Wolf of Wall Street. Ready? I know you think it's only one way, but here we go.
I got Jonah Hill. That's it.
That's cool. You're right. Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street was really disappointed with with Leonardo DiCaprio's the character when he was like, man, what are you drinking? He was like, oh, it's beer, but it's non-alcoholic beer. He's like, well, so what's in it? Like, he was like, weed. And he's like, so wait a minute, you got to drink a lot of them, get them fucked up, right? You're like, no, it's no alcohol in there. He's like, so why are you drinking it? The reason why he was so disappointed was because just so many years later, he was chilling with Gervais years before that at the pool, laying out, kicking them back, saying, hey, I might as well drink. I'm just going to drink because I want to die faster, because he knew he was getting a mansion. So the connection is there that he was so disappointed in Wolf of Wall Street, not because of, it's just that, hey, he's used to hanging out with Gervais, taking them back, taking painkillers, ready to fucking die.
You pulled it off.
You didn't think I could. What'd you call me and say? You're like, hey man, listen, if you don't want to, I'm like, no man, they expect me to make this happen, and those aren't even far outlandish. The Book of Mark is my favorite one.
The Book of Mark is, that's number one.
Yes. Awesome. You. All right. That is my connections for this week, and that's why they call that the cock that you need. Dave, take us away.
This is the top 10 facts about the invention of lying. Because this episode is all about lying, 3 of these facts are going to be lies, and you'll never know which 3. Let's start with number 10, Louis C.K.'s canceled beard. Long before Louis Calvin Klein was canceled, Ricky Gervais succeeded at getting a reluctant Louis to cancel his beard for his role in the invention of lying so he could better portray the part of a caveman in an original opening scene for the movie. Louis Calvin Klein cut his beard, and the editors cut the caveman scene.
Number 9, jerk off. Louis Calvin Klein's caveman scene actually had to be removed in order to keep the film's PG-13 rating, because Louis insisted that his character be masturbating under his loin covering the entire time. Now, Gervais is okayed this to humor him, thinking that, he could edit around it below the waist activity, but proved impossible when Louis Calvin Klein finished in multiple takes. Yes, you heard him finish, wearing a very obvious expression on his face that was more profane than the physical activity that was causing it.
Oh, Louis Calvin Klein. Number 8, the original title. The Invention of Lying was originally titled This Side of the Truth.
Alternate title. The Invention of Lying was released under its original title in France, but was released on DVD as Mythoman, a play on the French word mythomane, which means pathological liar.
Number 6. Pardon my French.
You fucking umpire? Yeah!
Yeah. Number 6. Pardon my French. Ricky Gervais' character is named Marc Bellicin, which is displayed on his office door as M. Bellicin. This, of course, resembles the word embellish, or the French word embellisson, I'm assuming, which means someone who beautifies reality or embellishes.
Number 5. Woody gets stiffed. Woody Allen was initially tapped for Gervais' role, writing, directing, starring in The Invention of Lying in 2007 when the script was first pitched. Due to production delays, he eventually had to step down to shoot his film, Whatever Works, with Larry David.
And number 4, this movie was not supposed to happen. Matt Robinson's original script for This Side of the Truth was included in 2007's blacklist of unproduced screenplays most liked by Hollywood producers. It was in good company, too, along with what would become The Invention of Lying. Other scripts that stood against the odds to find their way into production from that year included the Coen Brothers' Burn After Reading, which was eventually released in 2008, The Revenant, which was found its way to the screen in 2015, Hangover saw the light of day in 2009, Zombieland made its way into the world in 2009 as well, The Wrestler came into existence in 2008, The Wolf of Wall Street was birthed in 2013, Slumdog Millionaire 2008, The Book of Eli 2010, Selma 2014, and Recount in 2008.
Wow. Number 3. Directorial debut. The Invention of Lying was Ricky Gervais' feature film directorial debut. He was no stranger to directing, having directed his breakout series, The Office, as well as his other show, Extras, along with a few other series and short films.
Number 2, My Chemical Romance. An accident in craft service led to a very brief romantic encounter between Tina Fey and Rob Lowe on the set of The Invention of Lying. The story goes, a still anonymous prankster from the crew laced the wheatgrass drink dispenser with an absurd amount of ecstasy. Fey and Lowe, being the only ones who drank the wheatgrass, needless to say, were feeling really good. Long story short, when it was time for them to be on camera and they were nowhere to be found, their PAs began frantically searching, eventually finding them unclothed and in a compromising position in a grip truck. They took the rest of the day off and resumed shooting the next day, never to speak of their wheatgrass afternoon delight again.
Afternoon delight. I think you guys have it. Number 1, getting Hoffman. When initially approached to appear in The Invention of Lying, Philip Seymour Hoffman agents responded that he was too busy. We all know how the story ends because Hoffman is obviously in the movie. So, how did it happen? Ricky Gervais requested Hoffman's email address. That's right, kids. Email, it's a thing. And sent him a message reading, "Dear Philip, will you please appear in my new film? There's a very little money involved as I spent the budget on testicular implants. But don't look upon them as my testicles. Look at them as our testicles." I mean, how can you say no to that?
Marco.
Oh, and so glad you didn't. His role as the bartender is so funny.
Marco! What if I told you I was German? Guten Tag!
All right, which facts do you think were the lies? Let us know in the comments. There were 3 of them.
Something about that wheatgrass just doesn't taste right.
I don't know. Rob Lowe and Tina Fey are both very attractive. I can see them in a compromising position.
Guten Tag!
With that being said, it's time to talk during the movie. Alright, theories. Got any theories?
I surely do. Oh. Sorry, I'm flexing over here. I surely do, brother. I surely do.
Oh, before you get into your theories, I'll share what you pointed out when we were watching it this afternoon. The fact this is audience participation. Mark has a dartboard on his wall in his apartment, and then there's a photo of a very similar looking dartboard in a frame right next to it. We don't have a theory about this. We're just wondering if anybody out there knows why.
Is it a Britain thing or is it a? I mean, maybe over there it's normal. I don't know. It's very
I can't even begin to wonder.
And I wonder. So go ahead.
Well, my theory really isn't a theory as much as it is just a translation of what appeals to me about the premise of the movie and what the movie is saying within the premise of it. I like the fact that religion didn't exist before lying was invented. That's like the things that this movie suggests. It's essentially a comical take on one possible hypothetical for how religion could have been invented or came into existence. What I did like about the movie is that it goes about this, like, if you watch Ricky Gervais stand up or him talk on interviews or podcasts, he is like, he's brutal when it comes to religion. Like, he's right up there with, like, he's got the claws out when he does not hold back. But this movie, what I liked about it is that it goes about this conversation pretty politely as far as Ricky Gervais content goes, and as far as, like, saying, you know, having like an atheistic point of view, because what they're conveying essentially is that, like, why does he say that there's a heaven? Well, he eventually has to say there's a man in the sky because he says there's a heaven, so one kind of followed the other, but it started with heaven, and that came from him wanting to console his mom. So it's like, yeah, he's saying religion may have been made up. The point of the movie is that, you know, religion stems from a lie, but it's a lie that's said in...
Jennifer Garner said it, but didn't it make her feel good? Don't you want to make all those people out there feel good?
It's not coming from, like, a place of, like, trying to get over on somebody or anything like that. It's coming from a very sincere place, wanting to console hurting people with some kind of sense of hope. And it's also his own desperation to feel better and to have something to be to console his mom with. And it's also Jonah Hill, his character. You know, it's interesting that in the reality we live in, like, it proves that sometimes lying is necessary, because he said, what does he say to console Jonah Hill? He's like, it'll get better. And you couldn't say that in a world where you were incapable of lying, because that's something that you couldn't know for sure. So you couldn't say without being dishonest. So, like, when it comes to consolation, lying is necessary, and religion is like the ultimate consolation for humanity. I like the fact that eventually that the religion backfires in a way that we see happening in reality, where people, not all people that subscribe to a religion, but a lot of people. I mean, it just goes without saying, if you have this ultimate reward that's beyond this life, then what value can you truly put on this life if everything better is promised once this is over?
I was thinking that if I get eternal happiness when I die, that'll be really great because it's eternal, you know, so you can't really beat that.
And you see that kind of played out in different funny ways in The Invention of Lying. And then the icing on top of the cake, as far as the whole religious metaphor goes, is at the wedding ceremony at the end, which is interesting because in the Bible it often refers to like the people as the bride and God as the groom, like we are his bride. And so it was interesting that this like main key about religion took place at the wedding ceremony. So Ricky Gervais has the power to pretty much control what people think and what people's actions are going to be, because they believe he has a direct tap to the man in the sky, much like Jesus. He actually grows his hair out and looks like Jesus at one point. But the kicker is that when he's got Jennifer Garner's been established as the girl of his dreams, and he's standing there on her wedding day. She's about to get married to Rob Lowe, and he has all the power right there to stop her. She gives him the opportunity to stop her. What does the man in the sky want me to do? And he could have easily said, he wants you to walk off that altar and come be with me and be happy for the rest of our lives. He didn't do that. And it goes back to what the story of God is like. Why do we have free will? If he wants people to follow him, why not just create people to follow him? Because the relationship means nothing if it's not chosen by the other party, if it's not consensual. And there was the perfect representation of that. He walked away. He was willing to let her. Rob Lowe is like hell. He's admitted he doesn't even really want to be with her. He's only with her out of spite. So, like, for her to choose Rob Lowe would be to choose hell and deny Ricky Gervais, who has given her the choice when he doesn't have to, because he wants one thing to mean something, that relationship. So I thought it was an awesome metaphor for that, like, very dancing around subtly the idea that religion is a lie, but at the same time doing it just so effectively and really hitting like the key emotional points where it's not dogging religion. It's saying, you know, these are the justified reasons why people kind of cling to it. Yeah. Thought it was done well.
Okay. Well, my hear me out theory would be this. I have two, and one's really quick and one's just a little bit more elaborated on. The first one was more sort of a fun fantasy theory, was that the events of the invention of lying is what set off the events of the 10. Like everything that happened in the movie with Ricky Gervais, that's what spawned the thing. Cause like, there's like these things they explain these things now. And so to me, and then when I saw him dressed like that Jesus Day, I was like, wait a minute, that really made me feel that way. So in my crazy far out theory, because of Ricky Gervais one day being able to lie, now all the rules had to be written, and then these things started happening.
It does seem like it would take place in the same universe too. Yeah. So that's crazy if those tablets would have been big pizza boxes.
My other one is that from the outside the spectrum of the film, is that I feel that he sought out to make people look at themselves and really to have those conversations that they should be having. Now, what I really think he brilliantly showed was that a lot of people are mean as fuck and they're evil, because he could have easily showed people who were telling the truth that were doing nice things for everybody and be like, man, I really should try to help that guy. And I know he's showing you that a lot of these people, nobody really gives a fuck mostly when they say, hey, how you doing? They're not even waiting for the fucking response. You know what I'm saying? And to me, like, he took that chance with showing that, and it was just like, see, he was basically saying, hey, you don't actually need religion to actually get along, you know what I'm saying? Because there was no need for it when everybody was just being honest as shit. Even if they were being brutally honest, it was honest. So I think he was very courageous in telling that story and making us look at ourselves. And really, it almost goes back to with great power comes great responsibility. Like you said, he could have lied to her in that church. He could have said anything. He could have had sex with that girl earlier. The morality came into clause. He was like, you got to have sex with me or the world's going to end. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, can I get you? Oh, Jesus Christ, that beer's $10. But yeah, man, to me, like I said, he took a very, so I like that. He really, without shitting on the Bible or something like that, he really made people question themselves and think about these things, because the moment he just told you that something could be good, it showed you in that one park scene, like all these different human beings out there heard one message, but they all disseminated it differently. They all thought about it differently. Like, well, what does this happen? What does this happen? All right, that's society in itself right there. Don't overthink this shit. Yeah. He was just like, just do good. Wait a minute, is wearing pants bad? Man, you know what the fuck? Come on, man. Like, so yeah, that's really those are my two theories on that. Hear me out.
I like it. We were pretty much on the same page with that theory.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into casting call, just open discussion. Any other notes that we had about the movie?
Oh shit! Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah. Now, some other interesting points that I wanted to bring out. We talked about Matthew Robinson earlier, and so what really made me think about this was it now made me think about all those Golden Globes he's done, and know that him and Matt probably sat down and pinned some things together, because he is relentless. If you've never seen Ricky G at the Golden, it's not the Golden Globes, it's Ricky's Globes. Yeah. Because I mean, when you make Tom Hanks cringe in the audience full of all these people, like, what, nothing can make Tom nervous. Tom was like the face was just priceless. So yeah, that was
because I don't think he has to live with any of these people. I think he goes back over the seas and you don't have to run into them at the Whole Foods.
You mean to tell me you get your shit wiped for you and you can't take mine?
I liked I mean, the movie is so brilliant from the beginning, setting up this world of people not being able to lie. I mean, every single scenario is so not only interesting to watch just because it's like a hypothetical that's fun to wonder about, but every scenario is hilarious. Like, there are like a bunch of little mini skits in the first 20 minutes of the movie of and setting up this world where people can't lie. But one of the funniest parts to me were just the Coke commercial, which starred Westworld's Jimmy Simpson. Always Sunny fans know him as Liam McPoyle. You will call her! He is fantastic. But that Coke commercial is so fucking funny, because it's like, it's just one of those things. It's this quick moment, but it sets up this, like, it sets your imagination to wondering, like, yeah, how would commercials work in a world where you have to tell the truth? Like, commercials advertising relies on lying.
Did you see when he said it has so many grams of sugar that, and he takes it, he's like, so sweet.
Yeah. It's so dry, so good though.
And even his soup, like, was just like
it's like they're like, we can't do any flair, because that would be lying to you. It's the product. It says nothing. Gold dude telling you what the product is.
If you notice, we've changed the little things on
hype is a lie. Yeah. You can't even hype something up.
That's crazy.
And then the next day, it's so true. The bus passes with the sign on it. It says Pepsi when they don't have Coke. And that's accurate.
There we go, brother. All right.
I'm gonna forget his name again. What the hell is his name? Mark.
Matthew Robinson.
Mark Bellison, where Ricky Gervais' character works. He works for a film production company, but that's another thing that's fun to consider in a world where people can't lie. You can't even lie for the sake of... I feel like that should be a gray area with the invention of lying. Like, if you lived in that universe, if you are creating something that is, like, it's stated, this is fiction, then is that really lying?
No, but that's what made it brilliant, that they had to write it. That's why he didn't vote in the 1300s. He had to write what happened. Everyone wrote what happened.
But they're like tying creativity and imagination to lying. Like, if you have an imagination, that is your brain lying to yourself. So, and you have to have an imagination to write a fiction, because you're pulling something out of nothing for a fiction to take place. It's just the universe that they create is so funny. Like, what movies would be like, what advertising would look like, what general social interactions play out.
But that's what you have there. Movies are just written accounts of history.
Yeah, like that's what you end up with. Is just somebody, or like
That's why he didn't want the
history
13
of the
nitrous. He kept telling like, why'd you take the 13? And speaking of that, did you notice the play they did on that? What Ricky did? 20th Century Fox. That's why he had 14 centuries, 15 centuries, 17 centuries. He was making a play on them. That's what that was. Hey, those are talking points, kids. Casting call.
So I just replaced Ricky Gervais. I think Hugh Laurie could have done an equally well job writing, directing, definitely starring in it. I think he has the proper cadence for the type of dry comedy that this was. All the little, like, the way Ricky Gervais would do, like, yeah, but. And he never finishes his sentences, or like, oh, do you really have to? Don't. That's really. Like, I think Hugh Laurie could have pulled that off.
You were just listening to him in the car.
Hugh Laurie?
No. No.
Oh, I was like, I didn't know he did stand up. Oh, okay.
George Carlin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have been a very different energy, a very more high energy movie. But yeah, he would have. It definitely wouldn't have been PG-13.
Oh no. But because he calls people on their bullshit all the time. That's what it just made it beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would have definitely went with him.
All right.
Hugh Laurie.
I'd listen to his stand up.
There we go. All right, so guys, tell us what you think. We have our choices. What are yours? Put them in the comments. Durden, take us away.
7 minutes in heaven.
All right, guys. It's time for you to get in that bigger boat because we're going to roll on over to 7 minutes in heaven. And what does that mean, guys? We're going to talk about our favorite lines and scenes from the film. Now, David already pointed out one of his, which was the Coke commercial. Definitely love that. But something that really took my breath away when the hospice visit scene to me, and it's when the secretary he's speaking with, she looks at, she was like, oh, you really got to talk to her today. Like, she was like, no, this is it. She's at the top of our Deadpool. That shit there, man, like, god damn.
Yeah. Yeah, because
they're betting on these people dying.
Yeah, and so casually about it.
Yeah. No, you should probably talk to her today. Yeah, she's got. You always say that. Yeah, but it's really bad.
My number 3 is I'll start with number 4. I have 4.
You're still numbering these. We talked about this.
Well, I like the robbery flashback scene with Stephen Merchant. Stephen Merchant is just so fucking funny. Mm-hmm. Where Mark's dad is like, I'll just leave and you don't know my name.
What is your name?
Richard Bellison.
Good to meet you.
Damn. Like,
you got 2 choices. You can do this or you can wait inside.
Trying to pull off a robbery in a world where you can't lie.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. When he is, man, listen, the banter between them, when Ricky Gervais basically tells him like, hey,
my name is Doug.
Hi, Doug.
And he was like, I'm a black guy. He like,
I knew it.
Oh, you're very light-skinned, but I can see it.
I always wanted a black friend.
Me too.
no, my name's Mark. He like,
Marco.
he was like, I'm a one-armed, from Germany, like,
Guten Tag. It's a very lifelike prosthetic.
Oh, it's incredible.
I was like, to me, like I say, it's just the greats they just have it, man. They can always take it up, even the shortest moments of a film, take it up to the next level. And and combining that scene, actually, when later on, when Louis C.K. is telling them, like, when Ricky Gervais' character tells him, hey, man, we got to get out of here, we got to go. He's like, oh. He takes like 4 shots, like, I'll drive.
Yeah. That one of my favorite scenes kind of leads into that. I kind of call it one moment from the time he's at the bank to the time he's at the bar. That whole compilation of him realizing that he can lie and explaining that he can lie. Because how awesome would it be to go to the bank and just, like, they take your word for it. To the point where when the computer says something different, they're like, oh, that's our mistake. Here's the money that you requested that the computer clearly says is not in your account. And the reality that we live in It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, like it's their
Either
money.
we're like, no, I know I have. Well, that's not what the computer says. The computer is fucking up. Like they act like that's not possible.
Speaking
Like
from
this-
experience.
I'm
Jesus
bound.
Christ.
I'm bound by what the computer allows me to do. Like yeah. But then he goes to the bar and Philip Seymour Hoffman is so good as the bartender, just playing like a dolt. That's just like, huh?
Your mom's gonna die. Yeah, no, it's gonna happen today. But hey, it's fajita night down in the cafeteria, so you want to grab your bite after your mom dies. Oh my God, Jason fucking Bateman,
Yeah.
taking it home, man. You can always count on JB. Take it away, Cotton.
He's the most likable shithead ever.
Yeah.
And he plays those characters so well.
Remember his line in Horrible Bosses 2? What he said? I suck that. He said something like Anyway, sorry. Going off riff.
I got 2 more scenes.
Go for it. Or about lines? No lines?
Oh yeah, I got lines, but I'm just working with the scenes first.
Gotcha. I didn't know. I'm going back and forth.
Okay, that's gonna make my titles interesting.
When you said we were doing both a few moments ago, I thought that's why I kept flipping back and forth. You didn't say which one we were doing.
I legitimately have not. I don't think I've heard a line come out. I've just heard scenes.
No, you've heard lines. I've been doing the lines, and I thought we were blending.
This is,
Let's stick on the scenes.
I know you've got lines from this scene in your.
How do you know that? You
because we briefly broke the rule today and discussed it for a quick second. Because the Edward Norton scene is just so good.
Yes.
So I won't mention any of the lines, but I mean Edward Norton is amazing, and he's whatever accent he's doing.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much off the chart. You're drunk. You're going to jail.
It's a Boston accent.
Whatever accent he's trying.
Yeah.
He's great. The funny thing is, even when he fails, it's still entertaining as hell.
You see a motherfucker when he reached for his
Yeah, the come here hand. That's.
It had a very Super Trooper feel to it when he pulled him over there.
And he's not drunk. I made a terrible mistake.
In that same scene, we're on scene, so that was a good scene, Dirty. Another one of my scenes that I really loved here was let me bring this back. Oh yeah, I call it the fuck yeah versus fuck you. It's when Ricky Gervais has pulled out the pizza boxes and he's giving just simple, common sense things to people about what's good and what the man upstairs wants. And when he's telling these people this, it's not even 30 seconds in before one guy's like, so the man upstairs is good, and then 60 seconds later,
I say fuck the man that lives in the sky.
you're like, so wait a minute. So how? And then
he's evil.
Right. You're like, and then wait a minute. So wait a minute. He's the one that gave my mom cancer. Yeah. 60 seconds later, he's the one that cured my mom cancer. And that's where the brilliance of the film really came in right there to show you, like, listen, I gave you guys something simple. Be kind. What's the golden rule? Do unto others as you should have them do unto you. And somehow they divulged into, well, I really wanted the pussy, so I took it. Now we gotta lock your dumb ass up.
Yeah, that was such a good moment. That's and that it's a PG-13 movie, so they had one.
It didn't feel that way.
They had one fuck, and they chose to use it right there to fuck the man in the sky. And there's a random dude, not even a primary cast member,
out of nowhere,
got to drop it
out of nowhere.
My favorite scene of the movie is the opening scene, the scene that sets up the universe that we're living in. It does it so effectively. It's the opening date scene. The way it conveys the social situations in this world where people can't lie is hilarious. And I've got like most of my lines are from that scene, so I'll just save it for that. But Jennifer Garner is great. Ricky Gervais nails awkwardness almost too well.
The waiter's on point.
Oh yeah. I'm very embarrassed to be. And the other great thing about this scene is that it perfectly sets up Ricky Gervais as a protagonist that we want to root for, because he just desperetely needs.
He's short and has a stout nose and fat,
and he just looks like It's one thing to live in a world as just a complete loser, but I could not imagine living in a world where I was a loser and people couldn't lie to me and tell me that I was, hey man, you're cool. Like, he never gets that. Everywhere he goes, you're a loser, you're fat, your genetics are terrible. And he just sits there, and you could tell in this one scene, his whole life, he's been getting it, because he's just defeated. That's like, I think that's the one word that you could use to describe him, is like, not only has the world given up on him, he has clearly given up on himself. He's got the fucking Jennifer Gardner is going upstairs. She openly admits to him that she's going to masturbate. That tells that's like saying
you're not getting
like,
any.
Yeah, I'm taking care of myself before we even go on this date because
yeah,
yeah.
No, whatever you're thinking.
There's so many lines from that scene.
Oh, and my last one would have been when he got the first time I've seen in a film where a man has gotten, well, at least a white man's gotten a coochie coupon.
Yeah, that's one of the best moments.
Yeah, it's like
Ricky Gervais had his best. Like,
and then he's backpedaling, like, wait a minute, so
I can't have sex with you.
He's looking for some type. He's doing what other people do.
So you want socks?
But you saw him doing what most people do. They try to like, well, the rule says this. Well, I'm going to try to interpret it my way. He was trying to.
but Jennifer Garner is that I don't.
What did Rob do? Give me this shit.
I typically do not like Jennifer Garner. I don't know why, but I'll give it to her. She's funny in this movie, and but she's doing the impression of like.
Do not sleep with anyone unless you're married to them.
All right,
yeah, she did pretty good.
I got some other thoughts.
Are you
on
lying?
Her character too? No, I'm being honest. The only lie is on my shirt and the 3 facts for this episode.
And on my shirt,
keeping it.
Still want to sip again. They discovered us. Dave, take us away.
These are our favorite lines of the invention of lying.
And go. I don't find you attractive.
Shall we?
Yes, Jennifer Garner, right? That's the opening scene. Yeah. I'm gonna go back a little bit before that. Shout out to our guest coming up in cast crew review, Alison Quinn, coming out the gates and like 30-45 seconds into the movie, she's sitting there. She says, "Wow, I just took one of the biggest poops of my whole life."
What are you ordering?
Definitely sets the tone for the entire film. Definitely does. Very embarrassed I work here. How can I help you?
Very embarrassed I work here.
Yeah,
that's 90% of America.
Yeah, that was one of mine too. That's the delivery. Anna, as Jennifer Garner, you're early. I was masturbating.
That makes me think of your vagina.
I'm Mark. What an introduction. And we're not even a minute and 90 seconds into the movie at this point.
Jonah Hill and Ricky Gervais coming off the elevator. See you tomorrow.
If I'm not dead, then sure.
And it may not just come off as one of the favorite lines, but if you get into the movie, you see why.
Well, that's settled then.
Yeah, you say that.
I'm still on the first date in the first scene. Anna says, "I just masturbated."
That makes me horny. I hope this date ends in sex.
I don't find you attractive.
It was just so brutal, man. It was so brutal. Again, I mentioned this earlier before, but I have to bring it back up again because now since we're definitely in lines, it's fajita night downstairs.
You might want to grab yourself a little bite down there after Mom dies. Okay?
Jason
fucking Bateman, man.
When Anna and Mark on their first date still go into the restaurant, the hostess greets them by looking at Anna and saying,
"Hi, I'm threatened by you."
When Mark's walking up to his job in one of the opening scenes, she's standing outside. She's like, keep in mind, she is fully dressed for work. Her hair is done. She's got her makeup on. She got in her car. She drove. She made the transit to her place of employment to get to the front steps of the door and sit there and just plead to people who are going in.
I just don't want to go in there today. I just don't, you know?
I just don't, you know. If a single moment in a film ever deserved an Oscar, she conveyed that desperation so beautifully. I know both of us have had those occasions where we have turned around on the way to work or got in the parking lot and just no, I can't do it today.
Once you've seen that look on a man's face, you know that man's face. Yes, I agree with you 100% on that. The burning building baby bear story.
The burning building baby bear factory jam incident.
You never heard of it? No. I was in Gem, and I think this was actually attracted the bear, and no, and then boom, and it's from the second floor, and I jumped down. Oh.
He's turned stammering into an art. You're a little man bitch.
You're a little man bitch.
Rob Lowe, if you need him, ladies and gentlemen.
My last one is one of the last lines in the movie. Jennifer Garner's character, she says, "I want little fat kids with snub noses." This isn't a funny moment. It's a very cheesy moment. I typically wouldn't like. I wouldn't like this moment, and it's such a happy ending and cheesy and corny. But damn it, this movie earned it. They like, you could subtly see Jennifer Garner's character growing and becoming like not so superficial. And you see that moment when they're at the when she's having dinner with Rob Lowe, where it starts to kind of sink in. And they did a really good job having her character naturally transition and grow throughout the movie to that point where she says this really cheesy line. It's actually believable, and it kind of got a little goose pimples working now just thinking about it. It's just it's a very sweet moment. And yeah, that's my favorite. That's my last favorite line. You got any more favorite lines?
No.
What the hell were your favorite lines? Put them in the comments. There's so many good lines in this movie. We didn't even scratch the surface of all the great lines in this. So put yours in the comments, and we are going to move on to Scene Stealers.
Ow!
I got 2 honorable mentions, and then who I gotta give it to. And before we do that, let's shrink this down. And
Beetlejuice style.
First movie did was Joker, and who else other than Joaquin Phoenix would be on the board for that one? Let's see who joins Joaquin Phoenix in episode 2.
Take it away. All right. You said you had 2 honorable mentions. I have an honorable mention here. First, I want to give an honorable mention to Rob Lowe. Enough can't be said for his when you have to down, even though they toned him down, he was still, you can tell, like pretty boy Rob Lowe, and the things he was saying, he like, you came over to just tell me goodbye, and no, he came, like Ricky Gervais' character, like, you came over just to talk shit, like, no, I actually came over to say goodbye, and then all the other stuff just came out.
Yeah.
I've never really liked you. I think you're a little bitch boy.
I don't understand you, and I'm intimidated about things that I don't understand. I don't like not understanding things. He played Chris Traeger on Parks and Recreation. He plays a similar character there, where he's like that. No, not similar. Chris Traeger is like overly nice, but he's just so good at being. He's good at being a dick and still like seeming like likable.
Yeah, I agree.
My genetics, my confidence, my charisma.
That was one of my honorable mentions, and my other honorable mention, of course, will be Philip Seymour Hoffman on this. I mean, this and the see. You forget sometimes how great people are at what they did and how they took their craft seriously, and sometimes when things take them away from us, we go back and forget. So if you I know you haven't even seen the Mission Impossible, you got to go back and see when he played the villain.
I saw his scenes.
Yeah, just go back and watch the damn movie, man.
I plan on watching it, but I got to rewatch part 2.
You can't even feel the gravity of his scenes if you haven't watched the movie.
Oh.
I mean, you can, but not
show some respect.
No, not in the context that you can't even feel the full gravity.
He can create the full gravity in a single moment.
So you're saying Tom Cruise can't hold his shoestring?
I'll say that.
Okay, go ahead.
Not to Tom Cruise's face, because I couldn't look down that far.
Oh my gosh, Les Grossman's gonna fist fuck you.
Yeah, literally fuck yourself. Yeah, my honorable mention is Philip Seymour Hoffman as well, because the man does so much with so little in every movie. I mean, Along Came Polly. What's up? I just sharted.
The role of Jesus will now be played.
My other honorable mention. God, I wish that bar scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman could have just went on for like 20 more minutes.
There has to be some outtakes somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if you have the DVD or something.
Ricky Gervais. I would have given him the Scene Stealer, but I don't want to go a whole season just giving the lead star of the movie the Scene Stealer award. I mean, he obviously carried the movie. He also wrote the lines, so he's doing his own lines. He's directing it on top of that. So there's no doubt how talented Ricky Gervais is, but one of the shining moments for me in the movie, like the breakout, like, oh shit, I didn't expect to see him, and then this whole cameo is fucking hilarious, is Edward Norton from beginning to end in his his ridiculous Boston accent, all of his mannerisms. Like, he had probably 2.5, 3 pages of script, and he did everything with it. And I don't think there was a payday for this, for like the cameos like that.
I've made a terrible mistake.
He did it for at least a little, at most a little bit, at least nothing, to pull off that performance that he did. And I mean, it's what, like 2.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes of screen time, and he makes every single moment of it count.
I'm gonna go ahead. My scene still was Jennifer Garner. I thought about it like from a standpoint of who else did I see just as much as Ricky Gervais in the film? And don't get me wrong, of course it would have been easy to give it to Ricky Gervais. He's brilliant, he's mastermind. But I can't say that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like literally, like I saw him more in the writing than I did on screen, if that makes sense. His character was still good on screen, not taking anything away, but I can still see him in the writing. And for what Jennifer had to do to play off of him, that's hard in itself. But I'm like, she actually made me fucking laugh all the way through it. Like, and you, like you say, you saw her more depth from her character than anyone else's character. Like, the layers started to peel back from her, and it wasn't just like a band-aid pull. Like, it was like, no, she was like, no, your genetics are still fucked up, this, that, and the other. Like, no, I don't want to do it, I don't want this. But little by little, even when she went and tried to wipe that ice cream that had been shoved into that kid's face by that bully, she couldn't get it off. But she was like, and even she still was gonna go marry the dude. It made it believable. Yeah. And so to me, she's there throughout the movie, and she
in the beginning, you know, she's like, the way she's so, it seems cold-hearted, but it's not, because just how everybody is. She's just matter of fact. But the way that she delivers those lines that are like direct insults to somebody's face, and she does it so, she made it seem like it was a natural thing, which it is supposed to be in this universe. She did so good with that, and then the way she conveyed naivety and like just being totally gullible, but at the same time not coming off as gullible or naive. Just like, I don't know. She seemed like, it always seemed like she kind of instinctively knew that there was something awry, but she didn't like. But she's a product of the world.
It's like being trapped in and you can't get out. It's like being awake in your own body. But she definitely embodied it for me, man, from beginning to end. And like you say, the change that she eventually made to me, that's what won it over for me. Like, Edward Norton cannot take it from him. He did his thing, but I got to give it to Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, I think they both brought 110%, but she had her 110% was much more to fill than his 110%.
Yeah, he wasn't no screen.
He filled 110% of a cup. She filled 110% of a pitcher.
Right, but his cup didn't run over with any screen time with Gervais, so I didn't see him up against. She had multiple minutes with him, having to riff, having to banter, having to do it. He had Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. He did riff with him a little bit, but it's so much, man.
I'll concede on that one. I think.
I think you're just trying to get Edward up there because you know if we finish this show without.
I said I concede. Edward Norton can. My mistake.
All right, Dirt Tyler.
Edward Norton can. Yeah, I mean, he was great, but
and he did deliver one of the greatest not funny lines in the film, in a funny film, which is, "Hey,
Well, I'm relieved you're not a couple of black guys.
I didn't want to shoot you by mistake and lose my service weapon." Like that shit. It was just like, oh, okay, so you're not worried about losing life. You're worried about losing that service weapon.
Yeah, I mean, he brought it for sure, but his was a much more concentrated part. She had to bring consistency there.
The orgasm, she went upstairs. She had to act like she just came from upstairs masturbating. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, that's how I feel. I think a female would do that.
All right, congratulations to Jennifer Garner.
Oh,
get on that board.
See, we are equal opportunity show, ladies.
You're not up there because you're a female. You're up there because you killed it.
I wasn't talking about female.
Huh?
I'm talking about anybody that or masturbates on screen or off screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then get Louis C.K. for the
cancel culture.
Poor Louis Calvin Klein. All right. That's a perfect time to segue straight into Cast, Crew, or You. All right, guys, we're coming into Alison Quinn and Ken Cheeseman right now for Cast, Crew, or You, two fantastic and talented comical actors that were in the film. They starred in it. So let's run those interviews. Our guest is a comedian, actress, and writer who has starred in ABC's Sons and Daughters. She wrote, produced, and starred in the Funny or Die series Lizzie and Allie, a mostly true story, appeared in Curb Your Enthusiasm, as well as the reason why we are here today, The Invention of Lying.
Wow, I just took one of the biggest poops of my whole life.
Thank you very much for being here today, Alison Quinn.
Thank you for inviting me.
Before we get into the questions, I wanted to put out there that we have the challenge in this interview, since we're doing the Invention of Lying, that one of the answers to a question of your choosing will be a blatant lie, and at the end of the interview we'll put our heads together, try to determine which one that was, and see if we can figure it out. All right, I'm gonna pass the.
All right. So once again, thank you for coming on here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1. So let me ask you this: what passion went into practice first between stand-up, film, or theater, and when did you feel that initial spark and that desire to become a performer?
That's a good question. I feel like I always wanted to be a performer since I was like 3, but I would do different things, like, do sketches with my friends, and I would always if I was staying at a friend's house for a sleepover, I'd sneak downstairs because her parents would be watching Saturday Night Live, and I would watch it from behind the couch. So I always wanted to perform, but it was really weird because I didn't want anyone to tell me I couldn't do it. So I kept it to myself mostly. I tried out for the play in high school and I didn't get in. But also my drama teacher in high school married a student. So if that tells you anything about it wasn't a great loss, but I was very devastated to not get in that play. I think it was Grease. And then I went to college and did some stuff there, but not really. And then I moved to New York. I was working in a lot of films, on the production side of things, but I was so jealous of the performers. So I lied because you can't, production's 14 hours a day. So I said I had a doctor's appointment and I started taking improv classes. They would let me out because I think they thought I was going to the psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's always tough when you're not at least chasing your full potential of what you aspire to be, and then you put yourself in the position to directly see other people that are doing what you want to be doing. It's got to be tough.
Yeah, I think it was tough, but it was good too, because then it, maybe I would have never taken that leap, I guess. And then I went to acting school for 2 years, and then I did a bunch of theater in New York, and then I moved out to LA.
So in 1991, you played a minister's daughter in Secrets of the Unknown, a documentary narrated by Martin Landau about paranormal events. Do you remember what the story you starred in involved?
That's so weird. I actually don't, but you would think I would. I think it was about, I think I do remember now.
Okay.
So this was about this woman that had been killed in her house. This was in Phoenix, and they chopped off her fingers to get her jewelry. And then they just left her fingers just lying around on the table. And then we went and stayed in that house, and we were sleeping in the same room. And I saw a man walk by the doorway.
All right.
Now,
so did this happen in real life, or is this a reenactment? And second part to that question is, have you ever had a paranormal experience beyond that?
Yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of paranormal experiences. Yeah, no, that's a real life story. But I'm trying to think of my other paranormal stories that I've had. I've woken up before and there's been somebody standing at the end of my bed and they weren't really there.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
My parents, when I was like 10 years old, we had just moved to Florida. They bought this door from Home Depot, and the door had like the head of Baphomet like ingrained in the wood. It created like a perfect, like an artist depiction of the head of Baphomet. And I remember so weirdly, I mean, this is the Bible Belt, so you know, the woman at Lowe's, she was like, if you get this door, it's going to be a hex on your whole family. They're all going to get sick, and you burn it, just burn it. They didn't. They put it, I thought it was really cool. I was into Metallica, White Zombie. I'm like, yeah, but Baphomet. We put it on my room, and my brother got really sick. He shared the room with me. Our little brother, he got really sick. My whole family got sick. I woke up one night 6 to 12 inches above my bed and couldn't move, and it freaked the hell out of me. And then as soon as I started freaking out, I fell, and I would have thought I was sleeping, I was dreaming, or I was imagining it, but I felt myself fall. I never woke up. I fell and I ran straight out to the kitchen, and I was up for the rest of the night. So it was a weird experience.
I just want you to know he's never told me this story before, so I don't want you to feel like I've known this, and I'm hearing it just as you're hearing it. I'm hearing it. She's like, no, bro. Like I
believe it, but like, did you get rid of the door after that?
At that point, we finally took the advice of the Lowe's employee or the Home Depot employee and burned it in the backyard.
Oh my God.
There is no perfect segue, so I'm just going to go. We're here to talk about the invention of lying. And I'm talking to somebody, what did you take? Two whole poops? What's it? Like it was a big poop.
The biggest poop of her life.
Yeah.
What are you having?
Wait, what?
Wow. I just took one of the biggest poops of my whole life. What are you ordering?
We just watched it last night and tonight, and your part is hilarious where you just I just took one of the biggest poops of my whole life. But then the way you look down and are like, the characters in the movie don't really have the sense of shame because everybody is just always telling the truth, but you're just so nonchalant and go, segue right into, what are you ordering? Like, oh, this is happening now at a table where dinner is being served. This is the perfect punchline, and the way you convey it was awesome. And this is like 30-45 seconds into the movie maybe, and it's one of those, I remember the first time I saw it 10 years ago, I think that was one of the moments where it was just like, this is going to be an awesome movie because they said poop. Yeah. In the first, like, we're not even a minute in. I got a poop joke. What was your part? Because it seemed like those like talking head moments in the beginning, they could easily been like a second unit production. Did you get to work at all or interact with Gervais, or was that second unit?
Second unit.
I can't wait to get big enough to have
2 units.
Yeah. So a movie's being made and I'm not even there. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this then. Can you tell us a little bit about the casting process and how you actually got the role?
So my agent was friends with the casting director, and she's like, oh, I'm trying to cast these roles and we need someone that can improvise. And he's like, oh, I have someone for you. So then I went in and they had me say some things that would fit in that world. I don't think the line in the movie is what I said. I don't even remember what I said. And so I did that, and then I got it. And then that was that day of shooting was really bad. Not like the shooting itself was great, but the bad thing about it was I got there and they were doing my hair and makeup, which, as you can see, I'm not great at doing it myself, but like, I was excited. Like, I was like, oh, a Ricky Gervais movie, like, whatever. And the lady was like doing my hair and she's like, God, I really wish you would have washed your hair today. And I was like, I did wash it. I washed it like an hour ago. And she's like, it looks so greasy. And I was like, so she's doing that. And then wardrobe comes in and they're like, because I'm really short. I'm 5 feet tall. Like I don't write 5'0" because once, do you remember that show Oz?
Yes, jail, HBO.
Yeah. So when I lived in New York, I got my first TV show audition ever for Oz. And I went in to audition and I'm wearing like a schoolgirl outfit. It's like playing one of the prisoner's sisters. And I had like retted hair then. And I was wearing like a cardigan and a little pleated skirt. And do you know who Terry Kinney is? He's like an actor, but he directs now. Like if you look him up, you'll know who he is. But so he came out and he's like, can I talk to you a minute? And I'm like, yeah. And he was the director. And I'm like, oh, wow, maybe I won't even have to audition. Like, this is amazing. I'm still in acting school. Because I was looking at all the other women and they all had red hair. They looked like biker women. And he goes, so this character's very specific. So we're not actually going to see you, but thank you for coming in. So because I'm 5'0", I think they read the little inch mark wrong and thought I was 5'10". So that is a really boring story to tell you that I always say I'm really short. So first of all, you can cut this part out because it's so boring. But this part's, okay, we're back to the fun stuff. The wardrobe lady was like, I wish you would have said you're petite. And I'm like, I'm 5 feet tall. Like of course I'm petite. But second of all, when you do the digital size cards, there's no option to say petite. So unless they fix that, I can't do that. But I say I'm 5 feet tall. You should know that that's petite, right? So she was like, now Cynthia has to go out on her lunch break and buy you a jacket. Like it was just this day of like, oh no. And then they were shooting and I was waiting outside with the other people that were doing the talking heads and they got in trouble for talking. And then finally they were like, listen, we're going to throw you out of here if you don't stop talking because we can't hear on the set. And they go, it wasn't us, it was her. And they pointed to me.
Wow.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, that had to be one of those experiences. Like, have I slipped into the Twilight Zone where everybody's an asshole?
Yes, it was so like I was like, but when I actually filmed it, it was fun. But I just remember being like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, where's Ashton Kutcher at? He's gonna run out with his cameras anytime now.
Nope.
No, but and then they let me improvise for like 20 minutes, and I didn't know.
That was gonna be my next question. Yeah, if you had, if you were given the opportunity to try different lines, or just, I guess the answer to that is yes.
I think it was all about that, but I think I got to like elaborate more about what I saw in the toilet. And then another, like if you're filming improvisation, I do have a tip for people because you can't get a reaction, right? Like it's filming, so you don't know if anyone thinks it's funny. I usually watch people's stomachs, like the crew and the people sitting around, because you can see their stomachs moving, which means they're laughing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if everybody was being an asshole to you to kind of like sort of like some ultra form of direction. So like this person needs to be shameless. They need to be totally broken down to the point where they're just openly talking about their poop. All right, wardrobe, hair, makeup. Everybody just dogged this woman from the time she walks in.
It was her.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be the case, but that would be a real strange thing to do for a person that was in the movie as little as I was.
The most overachieving second unit
ever.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let me ask you this now. We know
the director was really cool because Ricky Gervais, didn't he co-direct the movie with somebody?
Yes.
Yeah. Whose name I got before, and now it's slipping my memory.
He
Matthew.
I'm like, it's Matthew something.
Yeah.
It is Matthew.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow,
they wrote and directed together.
That I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Robinson.
There we go.
Matthew Robinson.
Now we know it was probably a short time on set, but are there any other memories than the ones you shared with us that you think fans would like to know, maybe about the process or anything, or just being there? But like you said, with second unit, so maybe anything.
I remember there was a sign that said "No chewing gum on set."
wonder why. I mean, I know no, don't chew gum while you're performing, but
I think one of the performers had an aversion to chewing gum.
okay.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it is. One last thing on the topic of invention of lying. Not even necessarily about the movie. This is just about lying. Have you ever been caught in a big lie? I'm sorry, trademark, copyright.
Hold on, that you can tell.
Yeah. Have I ever been caught?
Yeah.
I'm sure. I just can't think of.
There's so many.
Let's see.
We're actors, damn it. We're not doing our job if we get caught, David.
A lie. I knew you were going to ask me this, and I just can't. I couldn't think of anything. I think I'm just a good liar.
Yeah, you can't. At this point, it's just truth to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing of acting, right? Like you just make these things real to you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But we got one last question, but before we do that, I want to take our guests, and I want to let you just have the guest because I have inside information about this interview that
damn it, so you already know the lie?
Uh-huh.
No. Okay, so I know I'm wrong now. I was gonna say I thought the lie was that lady told you that you didn't wash your hair. I'm like, nobody's gonna be that mean to somebody, but that actually happened. What, man? You already okay, you stopped me. I thought that was the sound effects thing. Did that really happen? Was there really some guy belching sound?
That's documented in the LA Times.
Well, you stumped me. So what was the lie?
I think they mentioned that in the LA Times. I think she was like, I don't even know what to write about this. Like, the production's lackluster.
There were methy whale sounds coming from the booth. Yeah. So what was the lie? I've been stumped here.
The lie is the paranormal show. So for some reason, I have a bunch of credits on IMDb that are someone else's credits. Like there's probably like 6 or 7 years. And some of it's cool stuff, like 21 Jump Street.
Really?
I can't even remember what else is on there.
Times. So IMDb came in with the assist on this lie.
Yeah, hey, I don't mind that though, because it's like your resume just always keeps building.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's fine. But because one of your questions was like, why did you take a 9-year break from acting? And I'm like, I didn't. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm reincarnated.
All right. So our final question is just in closing, if you have any parting words, poem, joke, lyrics, anything that you'd like to share as a goodbye.
I have a couple. Can I tell 2 jokes?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they're not my jokes, but they're jokes that I think are funny. So one joke is this guy is on death row and they go up to him and they're like, all right, it's time to execute you. This is your last meal. What do you want? And he's like, I want Taco Bell. I want pizza. I want wings. He's like, I can have anything I want. And they're like, He's like, I want black bean soup. I want ribs. And they're like, all right, so you can have all that. So they bring it to him, right? And he eats everything. And he's eating slow. He's drinking soda. And then it's right before they're about to execute him. They're like, any last words? And he lets out a huge fart. And he goes, pardon me?
Pardon me. See what you did there?
Oh, yeah, I see.
It's so dumb. I love it.
I like that you recognize that I like poop humor.
It's so stupid, but it has a fart in it.
Yeah.
And then here's my other joke that I love, which, I mean, if I had fans before, I'm definitely alienating people with my jokes and also my politics. Like, there goes half the people, but whatever. So this kid goes, like, he can't sleep. His name is Gregory, and he can't sleep, and he wakes up, and he goes into his parents' room, and they're having sex. And Gregory freaks out, and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the dad is like, it's not what you think, Gregory, come on. And he takes him back to bed. And the mom is all upset and she's like, I feel so bad. And the dad's like, don't worry about it. He'll be fine. It's no big deal. And then the mom is still upset like 20 minutes later. And so she's like, will you please go check on Gregory? And so the dad goes and checks on Gregory, and Gregory is in his room on top of his grandma. And he's like humping and humping and humping. And the dad goes, what are you doing? And he goes, not so funny when it's your mom, is it?
Yes. Now, you know why that joke is funny?
Why?
Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney I've heard Paul Mooney say
Oh, is that a joke someone really tells?
You know, Paul, well, he doesn't really tell it anymore. He's left us. Paul Mooney said he is like, ain't so funny when it's your mama. Yeah, so that, look at you. Alison, not Allie Quinn, Alison Quinn, if you need everybody. Give her a round of applause.
Wait, but don't then use that because I don't want to be like a joke stealer. I thought it was just like a joke that me and my sister told, not like a...
No, I've been waiting forever to bring up Paul Mooney on this show. That was perfect. No.
Okay, good.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and as long as credit is correctly attributed.
Yeah, and the pardon me joke, that is not mine also. I don't know where it came from. But
I've never heard that.
I've got an updated joke. There used to be a dead baby joke, but I've modified it. What do you call Donald Trump with no legs and no arms in the ocean?
What?
Fucked.
I see what you did there.
It's quick. It's
quick. It's a quick hitter.
I'll let you do the.
All right. And Alison Quinn, we want to thank you so much for taking your time out today. Listen, your stories are the stuff of legend. Sellers should be so lucky to tell the stories you tell and for them all to be true, other than the story that IMDb told. But other than that, you have been gracious. You've been the host with the best background we've ever seen. I'm talking about that. Whatever sound equipment you're using for us not to see and hear that win like that, amazing. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Thank you so much, Alison. You were awesome.
Thanks,
hopefully you do
guys.
more films and we can have you on, come back, because we had a blast. I
had also. We talked for 2 hours.
Hey, listen, we're bringing back communication between people. People don't know how to do this anymore. So I'm in your DM. Send me a quick emoji so I know what you mean. No, let's talk. Let's articulate ourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Our next guest's 35th anniversary with acting is celebrated this year. He has exercised his craft on the silver screen, the small screen, and the stage. His television credits include Monk, Law and Order, dun, dun, and Olive Kitteridge. On stage, he has starred in such productions as The Cherry Orchard and A Midsummer Night's Dream. On film, you have seen him in movies such as State and Maine, Mystic River, Leaves of Grass, Shutter Island, and of course, The Invention of Lying.
Why am I wearing clothes?
Thank you very much to Ken Cheeseman for being here today. Thank you so much for coming in so early today, sir.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me
with us. Yes, sir. All right, so I know we discussed this a little previously, but I want to put out there for the audience, know we're going to be doing a challenge during this interview because the movie is The Invention of Lying. So we'd like you to give us any question of your choosing that we ask. Make one of them a blatant lie, and at the end of the interview, we'll try to decide which one
was the lie.
Yeah, you could either let us know we were right or wrong, or we could just let that misinformation live out there for a while.
Oh, okay. I got it wrong. I thought I was supposed to lie in answer to every question but one. So I have the whole interview now.
I wish I wouldn't have clarified. That would have been fantastic.
I probably will anyway.
Let's go for it. We'll figure this thing out. Now, the first thing probably is a lie because according to IMDb, which has lied to us several times, your first credited acting role was in 1986. We were just 3 years old, not aging ourselves, playing Ken Korb in the made-for-TV movie, A Case of Deadly Force. But we assume this wasn't your first time acting. Can you tell us about when the spark happened for you and what the journey was like leading you into your first paid job?
I'm gonna go out on there and say that was Cobra.
No.
Okay.
It is actually, that movie is based on a real story. And it was a guy named Ken Cobra, by the way, who wrote for the Boston Phoenix, or he was a photographer for the Boston Phoenix. But anyway, I digress. My first spark, it came, of course, like all of us, at a very young age. My mother was an actor when I was a kid, and she was in a play called The Gazebo. And my father was a drummer. He was a musician. He was from London, from England, and had a very strong accent, talked like this. He was sort of working class British, So we were going to go see my mum's show together. And of course, we were going to be seated right down in the front so we could see it. So we go and we get there. But one of the actors, who had a very small part at the end, was supposed to play a Brooklyn cop in this play, didn't show up, and they didn't have an understudy. So my mother said, well, my husband's a drummer. He's used to performance. He's not an actor, but he could just walk on and do. He only had a couple of lines. He had to say, I'll take that and that. That was his line. And it was a surprise entrance that this cop makes at the end. So my mother says, Ken, he's 4 years old, but he's been to a million rehearsals. He's seen shows so many times, he'll be fine. Just put him in the front row all by himself and he'll be good. So she puts me in the front row. The play starts. My mother comes out, sits on this other man's lap, flirts with him, kisses him. I stand up, point at her and go, that's my mother. And I'm telling my father. And I stormed out of the theater to wild applause and laughter. And I was like, oh man, what just happened? And of course, the other thing is my father tried to upstage me at the end of the play when he walked on, because he entered the stage too early. And suddenly there's these two guys trying to dig up money at the end. And the Brooklyn cop, who's not supposed to arrive for another 5 minutes, is suddenly standing on stage trying to look invisible. And he got the second best laugh of the night. But as soon as this Brooklyn cop opened his mouth and said, I'll take that and that, he got applause. So I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world to do. And so that was the earliest spark, I would say, is that.
That is the coolest. How did you get into acting story I think we've ever heard?
Yeah.
That's I don't know if you know this. We have a store here where we make shirts from when our guests come on for things they say, and you just became a shirt. That's my mom, and I'm telling my father, you just became a shirt. Awesome sauce, man. Awesome.
Did your mom explain to you what was happening after the fact?
Oh yeah. And I saw her in a million shows later and just always thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So I was one of these kids that when I would go to a friend's house, you get that age as a kid where you start to go and stay overnight at a friend's house, or you have dinner at their house, and I was always perplexed that other kids' families did not suddenly break into song and dance around the kitchen. They didn't, throw costumes on and run around. I thought everybody's family did that stuff. And no, it wasn't true. So it was kind of a weird world to live in as a kid, but it's now paid off.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say I sincerely hope that's the answer isn't the lie.
The first one, that better not be it. You can't start. Okay, yeah. All right, for 1998, for one more question. Lil Iguana. From what we can tell, this appears to be a children's series, not the two moms thing. This appears to be a children's series that was locally produced and aired in Boston. You're credited as playing yourself. You appear to be the face of the program along with your co-star, a puppet iguana. Can you please tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll be brief on this one, only in that it's another one of these children's television shows that how good it came out, I don't know. But it is based on a real thing that happened to me. I have this incredible cousin who moved down to, after all kinds of catastrophes in her life, moved to a Caribbean island, St. John, where she'd gone for her wedding. And she moved down there, an amazing story of her move for there, where they parked this trailer thing on the edge of a hill, and all of her worldly possessions slid off the side of a mountain into the ocean when she moved down there. But she sort of rebuilt her life down there, and she was working at this cool restaurant called Skinny Legs. And I was like, I want to go down and see what it's like her living in the Caribbean. I'd never even been there. So we flew down and we went there and we visited and we had an amazing time. And we rented this amazing place that was way up on top of this, like a mountain. And there were all these iguanas that were in the kitchen. They'd run through the bedroom. They were everywhere. And I'm a New Englander. I wasn't used to those, but I thought they were really cool looking little critters. And in the morning, I'd get up and I'd have my cup of tea and I'd talk to them and have, you know, little chats with the iguanas and stuff. And I felt like it made some friends, you know. And when we flew back, I'm in my place in Boston and I open my suitcase and what leaps out?
Oh God.
A freaking iguana. And I'm like, oh my God. And I chase it around the room and I capture it and I'm like, what do I do? You know, so I got a terrarium for it. I put it in a thing and I kept it. And then this friend of mine who's a children's book author came over and he sees the iguana. And he's like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh my God, it leapt in my suitcase. And he said, oh, we should write a children's story about it. It's an iguana that wants to be an actor. And so he jumps into an actor's suitcase because he wants to be made famous. And so he travels with him like this. So he writes this children's story and he gets it illustrated. And we go around to these elementary schools and we do readings of it and stuff. And word gets around that this guy who did this other kids' TV show is going around with this little iguana. So some guy from New Hampshire who was doing a thing on child safety and stuff like that got in touch with me and said, hey, we'd love to do a show with you and this iguana. So they made a puppet. And I actually gave the iguana to one of the schools. It lived for like many years. I can't remember how many more years it lived, but I gave it to an elementary school and we did a season of a television show based on it, and it didn't come out that good.
All right, let's get into the reason that we contacted you to be on today. We are covering The Invention of Lying, released in 2009. This is unnatural. Why am I wearing clothes? How do you people live like this? This is such a funny concept to me because it's not the religion or the political ideology that sends somebody to the street to start screaming. This presents the idea that the religion or political ideology just gives somebody something to holler about that would have been hollering anyway. When I saw, I remember the first time I saw Invention of Lying, your little Where's Waldo moment was one of the magic moments for the movie for me, because that it said so much, and you're passionate, you brought that passionate energy to this, even though you're as if you were yelling about the end of the world, but you're just yelling obvious, it was just such a comical moment to me that made the movie, that enhanced the movie. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got that role, what the audition was like for a part like that? Were you asked to come in a room and just scream stuff, or how did that play out?
I hate to say it, I'm kind of when I was thinking about that, I was like, wow, reconstructing that audition. Certainly Ricky wasn't there, so I was probably auditioning for the New York casting director with the Boston casting director. And so I'm trying to remember. I think it was like you had to improvise a little bit around what you were given. If I recall, there was room for improvisation. Okay. And that was also, it was borne out on the set too. So yeah. I think there were the lines that were given, and then you had a little bit of license. I think they were looking for maybe a particular energy, which it sounds like you were picking up on when you saw the film. And so I think they probably thought, oh, this 6'3" guy standing on the side of the road in a suit screaming that at the top of his lungs, that could work well. So I think it was an energy.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely brought that sense of like somebody that is so overly confident in the things that they're saying that they're willing to scream them to passersby. And when I
was just waiting on to be like, he's coming, the return is near. I mean, when you said that, I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's the exact opposite. Like, wait a minute, we were born without clothes. We're Homo sapiens. Let me ask you this: did you try any different lines, or did they like when you did this? Like, is that the one that landed, or was it always that?
Well, this is, in terms of like, and I think it's Ricky's, is it his first directing gig?
His first time. Mm-hmm.
I think it was. Film, yeah. And he was working with, what's his name? Is it Matthew or?
Matthew Robinson.
There you go. It's in my book. That's outside.
Yeah. So it was like, it was like two friends, working together on this movie and making it happen and that. So again, as somebody who likes chaos and likes the chaos of film, and I think that does lend itself to, improvisation being used on film. You got to have that love of the chaos that's happening around you. And so I could feel Ricky's way of working was like, just let's get some stuff generated here. But again, that idea of, okay, we have a script. If we can get what's in the script, we're golden. Okay. But then if we can make a little free form, let's make some free form. And so when he was doing his things, I could see that he was leaving room for other stuff to happen. So I thought, oh, hopefully when I do my little bit, we'll get to do that. So sure enough, when we did, we shot it one time and they were laughing and seeming to like it, him and Matthew. And then at a certain point, he goes, do what you want. And so we're shooting in Lowell, Massachusetts, and across the street are all these people who live in Lowell, Massachusetts, who are watching them make the movie. So I thought, oh, I'm going to try to get them to take their clothes off. So I'm yelling at the bystanders, from Lowell, seeing if I can get somebody to take their clothes off. If I look back now and feel like I have a regret, I feel like I should have been ripping mine off. I should have ended that naked. I really should have ended it naked. It's probably the one regret of my career is that I didn't go all the way and just strip my clothes off and get naked. I think Ricky would have loved it. I just didn't have the confidence at the time to do that. But anyway.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that to being a wise decision. But I personally like the fact that you're screaming these things about why are we wearing clothes while not taking your clothes off. It's almost like that projection of like, I don't know if I really believe what I'm saying. I'm hoping that
they believe
you will. Yeah,
you can tell that it was so natural because when I watched it, did a rewatch the other day, you can tell Ricky G doesn't know you're going to say that because he walks by, he's like. like he didn't know that was going to happen. It's very rarely he gets thrown off, but I can tell that's somewhat surprising what you were saying. Like, take your clothes off. We're wearing clothes. Let me ask you a question now. Do you have a favorite memory from the set other than being there working with Ricky G and just keeping your clothes on, obviously not taking them off? But do you have a favorite memory from set of the production, whether it's on screen or off screen?
I gotta say, it was a pleasure when I did take a little risk. And I think it's Ricky who came up with the take your clothes off. It's just the way I was doing it and how I was phrasing it. Okay. That was a surprise to him. But I just remember feeling really good when I saw him and Matthew laughing, like they were restraining themselves from laughing while I was doing it. And that I would say was the highlight, just like, good, I'm doing my job.
It's good to make someone else laugh who makes you laugh all the time. It's like,
that's right.
I'm at least trending in the right direction here.
When we interviewed David Wayne, who's one of my favorite filmmakers and just the funniest guy, he's made me laugh my whole life. And we were talking to him, and I said one little thing, and he did the smallest little chuckle, and my heart fluttered. I'm like, I could die now. I could die.
That's it.
This is it. Yeah.
That's how I felt. You know, if I can make him laugh even for a second, I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this before we move on from the invention of lying. Is there anything else you'd like to share that the fans of the film may not know about the film whatsoever? Any inside information?
I guess just a thing that I would encourage people to look for. And you kind of talked about that moment of like what happens to us when we believe the lie. I mean, given what's just happened in this country over the last 5 years or so, this whole concept of the lie and its power, Ricky was a man ahead of his time there. So I would just say if there's a hidden jewel in there, it's like, look at it now and look at what he was asking us and what he was saying about the power of the lie and what we can believe.
If it was released now, it'd be called The Big Lie.
Yeah. To quote George Costanza, I'll bring up in Seinfeld anytime I can. To quote George Costanza, it's not a lie, Jerry, if you believe it. Or if I believe, you got to believe the lie. Like it's not a lie anymore.
I like how the French refer to it as we're beautifying the truth.
Alternate.
Yes, that's it. Beautifying the truth. I like that. I'm keeping that one.
All right, we are at the but before our final question, it is now time for us to see how well our human lie detector is. Now, before we do this, was there a lie in there somewhere?
Yes, there was.
Oh my God!
Okay, I beautified the truth. I'm sorry, I beautified the truth.
Okay.
So give us 10 seconds to.
All right.
I'm going either Kate Hudson or Mark Anthony.
I was going to go, he didn't fix that bike, or Mark Anthony. So I think I know where we're going. No, I don't think Mark Anthony invited him to this show.
So you think Mark Anthony is a lie?
No, I think he's lying about being invited to the show.
Yeah.
About not knowing who Mark Anthony was.
So you think that Mark Anthony was the lie?
Yeah. I thought you were asking me if Mark Anthony was a liar.
I think it was Kate Hudson, because I wouldn't make up that story about Mark Anthony.
I would. If somebody asked me to lie.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3, go.
On 3, right. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, man, fuck this. All right, yeah, listen. All right, no, we didn't rehearse that, by the way. All right, we're going to be here all day. Less words. All right, we're going to go with we don't have to do it together. We can both be right or wrong.
But we have one unified answer.
Okay, so what do you want to go with?
Okay.
All right, Mark Anthony.
Oh no, it's not. You're wrong.
Was it Kate Hudson?
No.
Oh,
so all of that was for nothing.
Yes.
Either way. Okay, which did we? What was the lie?
There was no iguana that jumped into my suitcase.
Oh my gosh!
Are you kidding me?
You told that so beautifully.
Yeah.
Well, I got home. There's an iguana in my.
It's one of those things where you make the lie so big it must be true. You got us there.
There was no iguana that jumped in my suitcase. That's a total
You gave an iguana away to a school? There was no iguana that went to the school that you gave away?
Yeah, he immediately had to tell multiple lies just to
and I think it lived for a few years. I just gave it to a school. I'm like, man, that's such a humanitarian. Jesus Christ. Good,
that's the problem when you tell a lie, then you got to keep telling lies on top of lies on top of lies.
Man.
And have a really good memory.
Sorry, Mark. You're great, by the way, Anthony.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And sorry to the school out there that never got the hypothetical iguana.
We'll send you one. So let me say this. In closing, do you have any? This doesn't have to do with film or anything. But in closing, do you have any parting words? Not any advice, life, because we know you're not giving life. Well, maybe a quote, a poem, or a song or something that you would like to leave with the audience. Anything you can think of.
I guess the only thing I can say right now is this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much to both of you. I know, look, this is the weird thing about the whole Zoom thing. I don't know what it is that I feel like I've actually had a nice time with you guys over my kitchen table. And so I wish it had been in person, in the flesh, but I feel like I looked at a couple of the episodes that you've all done before this, and I loved your energy, your enthusiasm, I think we share something in common of just appreciating the interesting stuff about making films and television, and it's great. I just love what you're doing. So thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to more of your stuff.
Thank you again for coming on. It was a sincere pleasure. Yeah.
Listen, when we're gonna be doing movies in the future, we would love to have you come back on sometime if you have the free time, and we thank you for it.
Oh, I'd love that, you guys. And thank you. You did such great homework too, man. I can't believe how much you had. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Have a great
Take care, all.
The rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Yes, you too. Bye now.
All right. Once again, we want to thank Alison Quinn and, of course, Ken Cheeseman for taking time out. Guys, you're now part of the TFT family.
You just thanked them, right?
Yeah.
I blacked out for a minute.
Losing time? No, shit. You went for it. I lost time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's after 6 o'clock. You feel comfortable blacking out now, huh?
Yeah.
Did I tell you not to say that shit is racist?
Fuck's given.
All right, guys, we're back. It's now time for Fucks Given. Now, Dave, tell us about what we're doing here.
We're going to start off with what we would have changed, if anything at all. Follow it up with the review of the film. So
let me start, because mine's a cop-out. I know what I would have changed, but I can't tell them because it was an idea me and you talked about, and I was like, hey, table that for something we can write a film on.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I would have changed, but I guess you guys have to wait a few years till this dope idea comes out.
Yeah. I don't know what I can't really think of anything that I would have changed about this.
Not the ending?
No, I like the ending. Like I said, I think they earned it.
You finally found the ending you liked, huh?
Yeah. Today. I don't know. We'll watch it.
He's going to call me 2 days from now like, you know what?
Yeah. Need to put an amendment on episode 2. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember the first time I watched it, I felt like it's not even that the second act, or really the third act, I would say, it's not even that it lulls, or like, I think it's that it comes out so hard, like with so many jokes per second, like, and then like anything beyond that, like the rest of the movie is still funny, it still has plenty of funny parts, but I think maybe it gets where in the beginning it's like, look how funny this world is, all these hypothetical situations, and then it kind of gets bogged down into the details of this specific lie that he's telling that's essentially about religion, that, you know, it kind of becomes the driving force of the movie. Well, I love that about the premise. It's like a lot of it was like a blueprint for creating a new world, and I don't know, it kind of slowed things down a little bit, but it didn't, for me, I didn't really take away from the movie, especially the last time I watched it. It goes by quickly. It's a solid hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think it's just that the first 15-20 minutes are so strong that even the really good hour and 10 minutes that follow, even though it's really good, and especially in comparison to most comedies, it's still, like, in comparison to the first 20 minutes, it kind of pales.
It's like when we were having a discussion earlier, I was telling you that while yes, you are correct, the first, if you're going to decide to do a movie that comes out that strong, it cannot keep up that same pace because you're going to lose your audience. So they had to lull it down. Yeah. So to me, it was mandatory, because most people say, well, no, you could have spread it out throughout the film. Yeah, most films do spread out that much humor throughout the film, but they said, no, fuck it. We're going to bring you into it. It's like you were on this, you started out on a roller coaster and now you're on Lazy River. Still a ride, still cool, but like, man, I'm talking when they come out firing, I haven't seen, like, it's unkeepable up or whatever, and that's why I gave it to Jennifer. It's like from the moment she gets there, she is matching him riff for riff, and they're going. Remember how you told me with Always Sunny, like they rehearse their lines, even though it seems like it's
in the beginning, It took me probably an hour to watch the first 20 minutes because I had to keep pausing it
to write stuff down. I'm like, I'm never gonna get through this.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of writing something, and something else funny just got said, so I've got to. Yeah, it comes out swinging so hard.
But this is what you like to call prime rewatch material.
Yeah.
Go back because you're going to find something new every single time.
Yeah, they do pay just enough attention to the little details in the back that kind of build up this universe in a world where people can't lie.
Yeah. This is clearly sponsored by Budweiser and Pizza Hut.
Yes, definitely not Pepsi.
Pepsi is nowhere to be found.
But they have to admit it. That's the inappropriate slogan for them when there isn't Coke.
Brilliant.
So I would give this movie, I'd give it 3.5 flying fucks. Because I've seen a lot of comedies that were solid 5s, and this isn't a 5, but it's also definitely not a 1, and it's way better than a 2. It's a little bit better than a 3, so I give it 3.5. I don't. It's just it's a good movie, but it's not. There's nothing technical about it that I could think that I would change. It's not like an imperfect. It was very capably put together, especially for Ricky Gervais' first time directing. So, the overall experience is like, I think it could have easily been a short film.
No, I'm going to give it a 3. For some of the same reasons you said, because we're splitting hairs here, but I give it a 3. Like you just said, is it up there with your Mount Rushmore of comedies? Your Coming to Americas, your the Three Amigos, it's just in National Lampoons. Hell, even Tommy Boys. It's not even Tommy Boy. Mm-hmm. Tommy Boy, so when we talk about that, so that's why I say to me those are in the classics, and then you have things like that are supposed to be comedies like What's the Worst That Could Happen, starring Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito. Just shit Held Up with Jamie Foxx.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess if you're a teenager working in a Hollywood video with cheese puffs and a little bit of oregano in your bag, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Guilty. You got me. That's the time and the place appropriate. Yeah, I probably need to go back and watch it again before I make that
judgment
call.
Put it this way, Held Up doesn't hold up. But anyway, man, he went on to win an Oscar. Excuse me. But yeah, so like I say, to me, it's a 3. But again, 3. But again, he should be happy that we're giving this a 3 because it was a directorial debut and it's a good foundation on what to build on. And like we say, I bet they were like, dude, we wrote so much of this straight fire. They were like, dude, we got to get to the story at some point.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so that to me, like I said, I give it a solid 3. And but it's put it this way, by us giving it a 3, people are going to go in with the 3 mindset, and then they're going to see it and be like, oh no, this could have, it'll give you more.
Yeah, I mean, they literally had to create the rules and establish the rules for a whole new universe.
Correct.
So with all that they had on their plate to convey, it could have been a lot more information heavy and a lot more like slow paced.
It's better than Dogma to me.
Oh, now okay, let's not. Oh, yeah, but
you lost time again.
Yeah. So with your 3, my 3.5, that gives it an average 3.25 flying fucks down there on the sticker.
Woo!
I think that's an accurate assessment. I think we did well.
Yes, well.
So let's get out on a high note. Here's coming attractions. All right. The next episode coming up in September.
Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck.
Is that the actual theme song?
Yeah.
Is there a theme song?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't just make that up?
No.
For real?
I don't remember if that was the tune, but there is a theme song. I'm looking now. It sounded right?
I have no idea. I don't recall a theme song whatsoever. I remember like a sci-fi score or something. While you're looking that up, I'll say do not miss. Also, the Howard the Duck episode. Boy, oh boy, do we have the lineup of guests in store for that. And from what I can tell, they say that they have some crazy stories to share from this very weird production. So it'll be a very interesting cast crew review. Speaking of cast crew review, don't miss this episode's cast crew review. The full interviews with Alison Quinn and Ken Cheeseman will be going up on next Thursday. And the fuck ups and bonus content from this episode will go up on August 19th. Is there a theme song?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you lying?
No.
Ending the episode?
No.
Dayman. Fighter of the night, man. Champion of the sun. You're a master.
See, I told you, hey, I finally got one. I'm right.
Of karate and friendship for everyone. Dayman.
It's gonna come soon. It's gonna be like it's coming.
Fighter of the night, man. Champion of the sun.
Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck.
Okay. I'm back, baby. Stella.
Damn.
Stella.
That was on point.
I told you, man. It's my shit, man.
All right. So solid outros. I can't really use that.
I know, but
I'll put that on Facebook or something.
No. Yeah. Fuck it. It's for the show. Yeah. I was right that time. I'm real. He had no faith in me. All right, guys. Yeah. Anchor.
Shit.
He's so shocked.
Yeah.
Like that's he had the rhythm down and all.
Those power naps, really. I need to get 4 or 5 minutes here.
Dude, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for watching another episode of TTFT. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on Patreon, ttft.live, aimbot energy, bring them up, and we'll see you next week.
Quack quack.
Full interviews, and then we'll see you with Howard the Duck.
Dude, I don't know where that came from. I know it was in there. Like it was subconsciously in there from like 20 years ago, maybe 30.
That blew my fucking mind.
I haven't heard that song in 30 years.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.